Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. So let's discuss Brian Callahan and Will Levis. Now, I'm actually kind of surprised as how many people have actually been talking about this today. It was mentioned on Colin Cowherd's show, Daily Show. It was mentioned on First Things First. I like watching on some of those shows. Some of them are, those are the ones I definitely actually like. I think they're smart. I might disagree with some of the things that they say, but I think they're actually intelligent. I like watching some of those guys. I've been looking at the discourse over Twitter, and I'm very shocked by this, actually, because I did not come from yesterday's game even really thinking about how Brian Callahan went off on Will Levis. But then I started thinking about it, and I thought about another recent, story regarding a head coach being hard on his quarterback, and I'm talking about Brian Flores being hard on Tua Tagovailoa, and how big of a story that was. Now, to me, and I have not been behind closed doors, so I cannot say this definitively, but some of these things, you won't hear about it until the coach is gone years later, like Brian Flores and Tua Tagovailoa. Although we even knew during the time that Flores didn't want to take Tua, those rumors were there. But really, now we really know, Tua does not mess with Brian Flores. Like, absolutely not. And Brian Flores was saying some wild things and acting wild towards Tua. In Brian Flores' case, telling Tua every day that you suck, you're not very good, being very negative, that's wild. Okay, that's not good coaching, in my opinion. That's a little too wild, okay? Brian Callahan, because literally, okay, me, as a fan watching the game, I didn't say, what the F are you doing? But I was literally, in real time, I literally yelled, what are you doing? Me, as a fan. So if I'm on the sideline and I'm the coach, it was so shocking. It was so bad. Naturally, you're going to be upset. I don't see. Now, the profanity, guys, it's football. Jesus Christ. I know it's 2024. I know everyone's woke. I know everyone's, whatever. Come on, guys. This is the NFL. If you can't take a what the F are you doing when you do something that requires and elicits a what the F are you doing, and then a little bit of a yell, and then after that, he calmed him down and was like, all right, settle in. Next drive, we're going to take a shot, settle them in. And then after that, it was cool. Who cares? This is football, guys. My goodness. My goodness gracious. I've even seen some of these guys going as far as saying, well, maybe he doesn't want Will Levis. He didn't draft Will Levis. Now, if that's the case, he shouldn't have took the job. Most likely, right? Why would he take the job? Why would he take the job if he didn't believe Will Levis could play? Why would he start Will Levis if he doesn't believe Will Levis could play? Why does he continue to believe he only played him really once for a big stretch in the preseason? Because he's had faith in Will Levis and what he's done in practice up to this point. Now, could this change down the road? Maybe. But I still think Will Levis has a decent leash. As long as this team does not start 0-4-5, then maybe we'll start having that conversation, but I don't see that happening yet. I'm not that negative when it comes to this team yet. I know some of you are, but not for a while. This is not, you can make an argument that, I don't know, Mike Vrabel wasn't a big Mariota fan. He eventually moved off on Mariota, and he was right for doing so. Look, even though at the time I didn't think he was, I don't need my quarterback and head coach. Look, they need to have a good relationship. But at the end of the day, the head coach is above the quarterback, hopefully, in most cases, except if you're like Mahomes. But even then, Reed still has more power than Mahomes, right? Unless if it came to like blows, then they'd probably get rid of Reed, especially considering his age. But outside of that, the head coach is going to have more power than the quarterback, even Belichick over Brady, even though he's Belichick. But yeah, so at the end of the day, normally, although it does depend, and especially in this case, when Callahan is coming in after Levis, I don't need them to look. I need them to have a good working relationship. I want them to like each other. They should like each other. But he's a head coach. I want him to coach him. I want him to coach him hard. He should be coached hard. When he makes a mistake, get a really bad mistake like that, If he says, what the F are you doing, gives him a little rant, good. Right? I'm not saying every interception you should do that. There are some, the interception of Traylon Burks, he didn't get that upset. It was just like, oh. And by the way, he didn't even blame Will Levis for that. Just like, oh. Or one of the lowest interceptions last week is just like, oh. Come on, you could do better. Go to the sideline, look at the replay, be like, oh, say that. There's nothing to me that I've seen at all to say Brian Callahan is a mean guy, a Brian Flores type. And hell, look, some of those guys will win Super Bowls. I even saw Eric Mangini. Now, he's not a great coach, but historically, talking about the Levis mistake and being like, yeah, what was that? Bill Belichick, after the Levis mistake last week, being honest. Now, Belichick is most likely done, and his style of coaching doesn't really work anymore because that is how soft a lot of these guys have gotten. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's really what it is. And look, I think Belichick's just out of touch though when it comes to offensively. He doesn't know anything what's going on offensively. He doesn't know who to hire offensively. He doesn't know how. So Belichick has his issues at this point. But he didn't win 6 Super Bowls for a reason, so let's not, ignore that. Also, let's not ignore the fact that his coaching tree that has tried to leave, like Eric Mangini, and implement the same style, haven't had great success. So I think there are varying degrees of how hard you should be on your players. I think someone like Mike McDaniel is not hard enough. I don't think Mike McDaniel is hard enough. As a result, I don't think the Dolphins are hard enough. As a result, they go to the playoffs. They're not tough enough. They get beaten in the cold, and they can't beat good teams really all year long, but particularly in November, December. To me, too soft. I still think he's a good coach. Schematically, he knows what he's doing. He's able to skim up good offenses. He's chill. Everyone loves Mike McDaniel. If we had him, I'd be happy, but I'd be like, there's a little bit of softness there that's not taking us over the edge. Vrabel was a little too stern, probably, actually. So there's varying degrees, but I think Callahan's fine. I actually am surprised he was that mad. I'm happy to see that fire in him because now I know, okay, the fire exists. So that they will fear this guy because you need a little bit of fear. Just a little bit of, this is the head coach, but there's a separation here. This is the head coach of my football team. There needs to be a healthy amount of fear and respect there. There needs to be that, in my opinion. Even Andy Reid will tell Mahomes when he F's up. He will tell him when he F's up. All right? And Andy Reid, I didn't like when in the Super Bowl, Andy Reid got shoved by Travis Kelce. I didn't like that. I thought that was too much, and I thought, that was too far. They ended up winning the game. They won the Super Bowl, so no one really cares. But I think there needs to be a healthy level of respect, and to me, that was a little ridiculous. I'm not saying you have to bench Travis Kelce. It's the damn Super Bowl, but I would have been like, hey, yo, you need to chill, big dog. Don't you ever come and bump me like that. But Andy Reid's Andy Reid. So when it comes to Levis and his leash, again, if he keeps doing this, which I don't think he's going to continue to make this poor decisions, he will continue to make bad decisions. And this is the thing that I'm shocked that people don't understand or didn't care to check or watch or research at all. Will Levis had a 3.6 interception percentage in college. So why are people surprised that he's throwing interceptions in the NFL? A 3.6 in college, okay? That will put you in the NFL, where you're going to probably throw more picks than you did in college. That puts you as one of the highest intercepted quarterbacks every year. So why is everyone shocked that Will Levis is throwing interceptions? What was it? His last year, he had 19 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. The year before that, he had 24 touchdowns to 13 interceptions in college. Tua Tagovailoa, who has his ups and downs in the NFL, and now I think he's going to play again. I think he had one year where he had 43 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. 3. Let me check that stat real quick, just to fact check it. Whenever you see that, and I had to learn the hard way because I was a big Jameis Winston fan and defender and supporter of him coming out of college. But the red flag was his second year. The famous Jameis year, it was fantastic, and I'll pull up even his stat line in a moment. So yeah, Tua Tagovailoa, it was, okay, here's what he had. In second year, he had 43 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. In his second year, he had 33 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Okay? Interception percentage in college, 1.6%. 1.6%. So why is everyone stunned that I don't know if, look, I get we want to have the franchise quarterback. I get it. I'm desperate too. I wanted to. But he showed you who he was in college. Will Levis in college. Let's look it up again. Year by year, let's look at his interception percentages. College stats, Will Levis. So here we go. Will Levis, year by year. First year we won't count at Penn State, but it was 4.3%. Second year was 0. Third year 3.7, and then fourth year 3.5. Career technically is 3.4, but this doesn't make any sense because it's taking into account the second year in which he really didn't play. He had 55 attempts. Somehow that's making that percentage off to me. This is a true percentage here. That's 3.6%. At least. I don't know why the second year is factoring into this when it comes to Pro Football Reference. So why is everyone surprised? Add on the fumbles. This is who he is. This is why I told you, I think he's going to be Baker. I think he's going to start for a number of years. I think he's not going to be a franchise quarterback here. He might move on in the future. He might do something. And there is a lot of potential here to where, and we're seeing this now. Okay, it's very odd too. I mean, well, it's not odd. I'll say it's odd for this decade. It actually used to happen a lot in the NFL in the 80s, 90s. You're seeing guys that were failures for, previous teams, and maybe not even failures. Let me actually revise that. Who did not succeed enough to be franchise quarterback for one franchise, leave, maybe go to a couple different teams like Baker and now maybe Sam Darnold, and they're resurging their career. Geno Smith. So we have Geno, we have Baker, we have now Goff was traded, and there was never a point he was on the bench, so I don't think he quite counts, but you could make an argument. You're Geno, and I think there's someone else that I might be forgetting right now. So you might see. Maybe if you want to count Gardner Minshew. Oh, my God. You might see one day if it doesn't work out with Will Levis and he goes to, let's say he's somehow, he's just not good enough to even start somewhere else. And let's say he ended up going to, it's a good example here, the Cowboys. And let's say he sits behind Dak, and I don't think Dak is any sort of genius, so maybe let me think of maybe a better example. Maybe he goes to the Chiefs or something. I don't know. And he's able to sit behind Mahomes and learn from Andy Reid and da-da-da-da-da. And then one day he ends up going to New York Giants, and he's competing for the job. And all of a sudden he looks much improved. This could be year 6, 7, 8, because he has the arm talent. He has the intelligence. He's an intelligent guy. He went to Penn State, got in legitimately. I have no doubt about his intelligence. I can't remember his, let's look it up. What was his Wonderlic? Will Levis Wonderlic. I wish I had his SAT scores, but I probably won't be able to find that. But Will Levis Wonderlic. Also, they have that other test, but we can't even buy into that test anymore because C.J. Stroud failed it, and he's a beast. So we're not even going to listen to that test anymore. Whenever they try to tell us that, I call BS on that, whatever test they had to show how quickly you're able to learn something. And wasn't Bryce Young in the 98th percentile, and then C.J. Stroud was in the second percentile? Yeah, how did that work out? What a terrible test. Let's see. My phone just died. Levis Wonderlic. So Will Levis on the Wonderlic got... you had a 93. Is the S2 test? That's what I'm referring to. Do they still take Wonderlicks? I guess not. Maybe they just take this cognitive test now. So you got 93%, right? I mean, this test. I mean, can we now throw this test out? Can this test now be thrown out? Because Bryce Young got 98%, and then C.J. Stroud got 18. So this test is now thrown out. And Will Levis got 93. Look, they're smart, okay? Bryce Young's smart. And we're going to talk about Bryce Young actually maybe tomorrow or another night. We're going to have a conversation about Bryce Young, but not tonight. Unless if anyone sends in a super chat, we'll talk about Bryce Young another night. But he's a smart guy. So in a given time, and maybe if things would have worked out with Tannehill, it would have been better because maybe you just needed to sit on the bench for another year and learn behind a guy. But we don't have another guy, so here you go. And he had a great debut, so we were like, here we go. And maybe he's not ready yet. So I think one day he might put it together. I just don't know if it's going to be this year, and I don't know if it's going to be soon, and I don't know. And I don't really care that much because, and it's kind of odd because it was the top of the second round. So it is kind of a first round pick, right? But it is a second round pick. And we've had Kevin Dodds. We've had Isaiah Wilsons. We've had complete and utter disaster busts. And for that era, the Kevin Dodd little stint, we were still able to build a championship contender, all right? Despite, a busting Kevin Dodd, despite Conklin not being here anymore, he wasn't a bust, but despite him not being here anymore, despite Mariota being a bust, at least not being here anymore, he was a bust. I don't like calling Mariota a bust, but he was a bust. Despite other examples like this. So if Levis isn't the guy, I'm cool. It's not that it sucks, yeah. You can look back at that draft and say, oh, we could have had this guy, we could have had this guy. Yeah, but it's fine. I mean, if we draft a quarterback next year, I'm not that embarrassed. It kind of sucks. I'd be more embarrassed if it was if we draft him at 11, which one day, the Colts are going to realize how stupid it was to take Anthony Richardson, who has not won since he was in high school, with the 4th overall pick, okay? And then Young, I don't know what's happening with Bryce Young. That's embarrassing, okay? 33rd pick in the draft, ends up not working out. Okay, it's unfortunate, but it's not as embarrassing as that. So we can just move on and draft the next quarterback. And I'm okay with that, as long as I like him. This time, draft someone I like. This time, draft someone I want, okay? I know I've been wrong before, Mariota, but just try again, okay? So it's not the end of the world. It's not yet. But I went into this season saying we're going to be 8-9. We're going to show signs of improvement. We're not there yet. That was my expectation. So I'm chilling. I don't like watching us lose, but I'm chilling. This is about the team I expected. Some people thought, you get the expectations, they go crazy. If we would have traded up for C.J. Stroud the way we liked, even he, by the way, because we would have had good enough assets, might make this a playoff team. Probably would, because he is that good. But even then, I wouldn't be like, now we're a Super Bowl team. I mean, Houston might be, because they have more pieces around him than we have. Barely, actually, I will say, because their defense to me is not very good. Although they're playing well-ish right now. They played well against the Bears, that's for sure. Against the Colts, not so much. In the playoffs, not so much. So I don't want to go that far yet, although they did add to that defense. So I have to see, more of that defense this year. Yeah, but C.J. Stroud's the difference. I mean, I'm not going to absolutely dispute that. I mean, 100%. So the Texans are winning this division. Forget about it. It's a disaster. I'm in hell. But hey, it's fine. If we have these signs of, and look, even if it ends up being the same record as last year, which again I think is worst case scenario, and as long as I see, and by the way, this is weird. Pro Football Focus gave L'Jarius Sneed another poor rating. He gave up 2 catches for 36 yards. One was the 26-yarder. It hurt us. Okay, he got beat once by Garrett Wilson. Oh my God, I'm going to kill myself. Now, okay, it's going to happen. And then another catch. It's a good game. I don't understand why he's getting these poor ratings. And I watched this team. It looks good to me. So as long as Snead plays well and is healthy, As long as Chidobe Awuzie plays well as healthy, Simmons well healthy, Landry well healthy, the defense continues to look good. I see more from Skoronski, hopefully. I see Latham's playing well. Produced for Arizona, so he's done. Right tackle's an issue. We'll hopefully find one next year. If I see Calvin Ridley still playing well and not showing signs of regression or age, Hopkins, I'm out. Sorry. I'm out. I just get someone else next year. Look, I appreciate how well he played this last year, and I still think he's gonna end up doing better this year. 700-800 yards, maybe. Next year, don't talk to me about Jared Hopkins. He's a number 3. Hopefully, dear God, if he's our number 2 next year, we have problems. Get someone else, please. Draft one of those wide receivers in the first round if you don't go for quarterback, or another one in the second, please. You have to, or T. Higgins, or something like that. We'll have the money. As long as I see those things, I'm going to be very optimistic next year if we get the quarterback. All right? The running backs are still looking decent enough. I actually will be fine. If you tell me next year the only thing, and we're going to add more to this roster because I still think it's an improved roster, and we figure out the quarterback, next year I'll be like, playoff team. Surprise playoff team. Tennessee Titans are going to go from 6 wins to 11 wins. I will say that. I will be ready because I see the pieces forming, except the quarterback's not there right now. The quarterback play is not there right now. So that's what I know it sucks. And look, I still think we're going to go 8-9. I'm sticking with my prediction on that. It's not looking great, but I'm sticking with my prediction on that. And but as long as I see those things, that's what this year was for me. Okay? Next year, let's see what we add. We're not there yet. It's fine. Perfectly fine. We'll be there. I believe in what Red Carthon is building. I want to see a little bit more from Callahan because some of the play calling in the second half I didn't love. And then I think we'll be all right. So I don't want people to panic. I just want everyone to be realistic. To keep everything calm. I'm going to enjoy Monday Night Football. Here we have Falcons versus Eagles. I have the Eagles winning, Falcons covering. So that will do it. Those are my thoughts on the Will Levis, Brian Callahan, quote-unquote drama on this team overall. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.